Hey guys, so I am back in the motherland, back in Africa, back where I belong, away from my wife and son, however, which is the other place I belong, but I thrive here. This is home. This is home. They are home as well, of course, but as you all know, my family is split between two continents. So until I can bring my wife and son here, I have to keep moving about between the two. And while I'm here, I feel my connection with spirit has found so much more ease than I was having back in the West. When I'm in the West, when I'm in places like Hamburg, we still stay close to nature, but it's not the same. Tanzania is just, first of all, so profoundly beautiful beyond description. But the nature is so natural. It's so untouched. There's no one going around cutting down a tree because they think it should be cut down. There's no one spray painting a tree that they think might be dangerous. It's all up to God here. It's all up to Mother, Father, Creator. And somehow there's an analogy I'd like to use. And I hope it's a bit of a pop culture analogy that some of you will know. There was a movie, Avatar. Now, I very much feel movies like Avatar are designed in a way to create a contempt inside humanity for our own species. And I just want to put that out there for the record. This is a common theme of children's movies where they make humans the bad guys. And it makes you dislike your own species in a way. Now, the problem is that this is a real problem, and humans in the minority are a problem for the planet, and they do destroy it, and they do industrialize the gift that Mother, Father, Creator has given us, which is Mother Earth. But that aside, in that movie there's an interesting concept of a halo.
Trying to understand this deep connection that people have to the forest. She talks about a network of energy that flows through all living things. She says all energy is only borrowed, and one day you have to give it back.
Where you can they plug their ponytails into the various animals, and they can plug into the nature and the trees, and they make it some sort of a mystical land where this is not possible, but this is the world I live in, and this is the world that you live in too. And these halos exist. They exist in the form of meditation. They exist in earthing, in physically sitting in this red dirt, which, to steal another pop culture reference, in the movie Blood Diamond, they say it's in their blood, and I feel that way now. I feel the red dirt of Africa is in my blood.
Give me your hand. This red earth, it's in our skin. The Shona say the color comes from all the blood that's being spilled fighting over the land. This is home. You'll never leave Africa.
I've spent the majority, nearly, I'd say the majority of my adult life here, because I don't count my late teens and early 20s as adult, because I was just a mindless child, like most persons are raised to be inside our society in the West. And that passage to become that which we call a man, not to put it in a sexist context or to put labels on people that they can't live up to, but to mature, to connect, to have respect and love for one another, then that didn't happen until later in my life. And I've spent most of my life as an adult, as a man here. And this is my home. And this halo that we can all connect to, that we can all be a part of, this is lost in the West to so many. And because of that, we get lost in the matrix of religion, the matrix of the media, the matrix of ideologies, the matrices of science. And when we get lost in that matrix, we disconnect from the love of God. And the love of God exists in our halos. Here now, where I'm sitting in this beauty, I am sitting with God. I am in God's lap. I feel His presence everywhere. I feel His love penetrating my cells. I feel His love entering me as I breathe. I feel His presence as I ask questions, as I raise doubts, as I explore the mess that is the human mind, the mess that we all are. The foundation of all humans is that of a mess, to put it in simple terms. And the pursuit of perfection of that mess is simply an expression. The pursuit to be better, the pursuit to be Christ-like. It's an expression founded from that mess, coming from the foundation which is you. And as we slowly clean up that mess, you begin to enter into another realm of reality. And it's not that you shift into another dimension. It's that the cage that stopped you from being in the dimension of God, which is always here and has always been here, and you were present within from the day you left your mother's womb, becomes visible to you. And it becomes visible to you because you start to leave the matrix. Now the matrix takes many forms, and I speak on religion often. And I try my level best to end the stupidity of divide with religion, because people don't understand that all religions are signposts to the halo, to the present moment, to the love and connectivity of God that I feel right now, that I have felt for years, and that I feel all the more easily when I'm out in God's creation and not the creation of the human intellect. Not that one is wrong and one is better, but let's be honest, the sharp corners of a city and the clean floors for all have their benefits. It's nice to know you're not going to tread on a snake when you're walking on a concrete path. It's nice to know you're not going to get stung by some sort of plant life that's going to leave a rash for a few days and make you itchy and frustrated. Those are the benefits. It's nice to know there's hygiene. But we somehow need to start incorporating the halo into the way that we design our architecture, the way we design our civilization. And I'm going to include religion in there because so many of us have gotten on board with the religious matrix in the wrong way. Religion is a form of calculus. All religions are a form of symbology, belief, imagery, geometry, sound, noises, labels, meanings. All are simply that. Now these meanings, these symbols, these images, these people have great deep meaning in the core of many people's hearts. But what has happened to humanity is we've disconnected from that halo. And we've gotten lost in the matrix of the symbology of the directions to lead us back to that halo. The love of God is present for all men and all women. All. Despite their deeds, despite their mistakes, despite their good works. God is available. But God is only available once you follow the signs, the symbols, the sounds, the calculus, the geometry, the ideas, the opinions, the moral judgments. Once you travel that journey and you reach that which I'm referring to in this video as the halo, the present moment, the thing that makes you plug in to Mother Earth and then makes you plug in to Great Spirit and makes you plug in to Mother, Father, Creator. This is available to everybody. But we are hung up on the symbols, on the geometry, the sounds, the meanings. And that's not where God is. Those symbols, those teachings, those words, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, pagan, anything in between. They began with men and women sitting, embraced and embellished in the love of God, surrounded, entrenched, soaked in it, just as I can be sitting here now. And then they start the momentous task of describing to you how to get there. Jesus did a very good job of describing how to get there. Very good job. In our attitudes, in our behaviours, he left us a signpost to feel that love of God. And people sense that. They sense it in his words. They sense it in what he said. And the problem has arisen that love that he was trying to lead you back to with his words and all of the sages, messiahs, yogis and gurus. That love they were trying to lead you back to, that you sensed, that you felt and you knew it was right. Many people haven't reached it. And instead they've begun to worship the teachers instead of following the teaching back to that place. Because that same love that you feel, that same love that you feel in the teachings of a man like Jesus Christ is available to you. It wasn't only there for him, and he guided you back to it. He pushed you to it. And in modern day terms, we call it that you need to fast. But we say you need to fast because we have agriculture and food is always available. But I'm fairly sure God designed us to always have the halo, because food was not always available to our ancestry, our ancestors. And thus they would go a few days without food. And their flesh would become quieter. And they would become more aligned, more attuned, as those hormones raised up in their body and they plugged into the present moment to work out, where am I going to get this from? Where am I going to provide for my family from? Where am I going to do that from this place of love? But when food became abundant, we had to add in the addition of fasting, the discipline of it, to come back to our natural state. And I fasted more days than I can count this year. I've perhaps fasted more days than I've eaten this year, in fact. I'd have to work it out. And I feel fresh. I feel aligned. I feel humbled. But above all, I feel that love that burns inside you when you plug into the halo. And because I feel that love, I feel a great contempt for anybody who does not understand that love and expresses negative things towards people. I don't feel a contempt for those who are yet to find it. I don't feel a contempt for those seeking. But I feel a contempt for those who profess the love of God and then condemn others when they do. Because they haven't found it. Because they've gotten lost in the symbols. They got lost in the calculus. They got lost in the horrendously difficult task of using this linear processing system, our linear language system, which is very weak. Speaking is very weak. And it's so difficult to describe something completely non-linear with a linear system. And thus it's so easy to get lost in the linear descriptions and signposts to get you back to the halo, to get you out of the matrix, out of the matrix of religion, the matrix of media, out of the matrix of your own mind, and to come here now and to see it as it is, to feel the ground on your body, to hear this water rushing, feel the coolness of the air. You see, I'm experiencing that all in one go. I'm hearing it, feeling it, smelling it all at the same time. But I can only describe it one after another. And that's where we get lost. That's where we get lost inside the matrix of our mind. And the matrix includes religious descriptions. And you can profess someone as your savior, and you can say that this is the right one and this is the right one. But at the end of the day, it is God's love that will protect and save and change this planet. And it matters not what words or symbols or calculations or noises or geometrical patterns or imagery that you use to define and depict that love of God that you have sensed in these teachings wherever you've grown up culturally. It really matters not. Because if you can come back to your halo when you meet another human being, if they are not of the same faith as you, they know nothing about your teachings, they might not even have any religion at all, which I have the pleasure of meeting people like that. I meet people here who have nothing like that. They just live. They have no formal belief. They have no system, no symbology. They're just here now. When you meet another person whose halo is connected, then you know you're with one of God's children, and you're in good company, and you're in a person who has capacity for great love. And when you sit with a person who is tied up in the symbols, the words, the ideas, the images, you know you're with a person with the potential for capacity for great love, but could very well cause a great deal of damage because they can't fully yet get beyond their matrix. They haven't fully unplugged and they haven't understood that God is here. I'm with God now. Sitting by my side as I look at this water and ponder the tasks ahead of me. He's sitting by my side as I wonder about the children who are not well with us. I wonder how my wife is coping without me. God is here. But if I begin to think and I begin to attach my emotions to those thoughts, and God gets further and further away. Because the collective expression of what I am can't describe what is happening fast enough with its linear noise, with its linear symbology, its linear sounds, its linear mind. And thus, we take no thought, we plug into our halo, and we rest in God's love. And that's all I want for all people. Because I know when we are there, the whole of humanity, every single being can elevate themselves into that space where the connection to the halo guides you. And you don't have people torturing animals, torturing others. You don't have people who have good intentions but then say horrible, crude things about other persons because they don't use the same symbols and noises as them to describe the path to God. So find your halo. And to find your halo, start your long walk out of the matrix and be prepared to change in ways you can't imagine. And be prepared to unearth and discover senses in your body that you didn't even know were there, but you once knew. You just forgot. Perhaps best way to describe it is you never forgot. Your linear descriptive system of this event going on around you simply clouded it to the point where you disconnected from the collective attachment to the halo in favor of an identity, of a collection of memories and ideas and opinions and symbols and sounds. And if all of this makes no sense to you, go sit in nature for hours and hours and hours and hours, alone, and listen and relax and wait, and in time all of a sudden you'll enter the halo and you won't need to listen to people like myself, because you'll then begin to understand that I'm finding it difficult to explain to you with this weak communication system that is my voice and my mind going in a straight line, something that is truly and utterly indescribable, something you can see and hear beyond my voice as I sit here now. I love you all. Find your halo. And when you do, you'll realize that God was always carrying you. Always. And always will. God bless, guys. Bye. Happy to be born. Bye. But I miss my wife and I miss my son, because I know they'll be watching me now.